dramatically, though, is what we have to face and the various dangers and fears that are out there for all of us and our students. So I'm really grateful for the training you're about to enter into today. I hate it that we have to do that anymore. I hate it that we have to think those ways, but we have to, and we have to constantly prepare because obviously our number one priority is the safety of our students and the safety of our employees. So I applaud you for what you do on a daily basis. I applaud you for being here today, and I hope you enjoy your time visiting us at Case Valley. Thank you.
Speak up.
All right, try to speak up. I'll do the best I can. Like I said, it's the second time I've ever done this. I want to talk to you about active threat on a bus or an active killer. If somebody's on the bus with a weapon, they're a killer. They're there to do harm. They're there to kill people. They're not there to say hi. So that's all I want to point across is, if there's a threat on your bus, you're going to have to do something. There is no retreating. There is no retiring. You've got nowhere to go. You can't barricade. You can't lock down. You have to make a decision. You have to do something. I have some pretty good videos that kind of demonstrate that. So we don't know what I do. Are you prepared for today? It's not like yesterday. Anything can happen with you as far as an accident. What if you have an accident, somebody didn't get mad and get out of the car with a gun? You got to know what's going on. You got to know your surroundings. You got to know how to react. Here's the video. It starts out a little dry. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty good. It demonstrates two different actions and reactions. Action put out by the Indiana State Police Force.
Stephanie Wharton, raise your hand. We need to turn the lights off. Or if you could just, sorry.
This is chat.
just like you guys. All these new threats, we're all being trained to respond to these new threats. There's also house state when I've been equipped, training different weapons, reach equipment, giving us different options to respond to active children. My department alone just sent 12 guys last year to do solo engagement, basically how to react, respond, fire yourself as a single officer in an active killing. And that came about because of different shootings where officers used to wait for 3 other officers to jump before they responded. Well, people were getting killed while officers were waiting. Now we're training to respond as a single officer. We'll make entry on a bus. It's different. We've always done building stuff. On a bus, so we're going to have to get on the bus somehow, some way. We're going to find a track we're neutralized. We're not going to provide medical care. Even the officers that down. We're there to find the threat. If we start taking care of people that are injured, we now become a target. We have to find the threat to why is preparation necessary? 25 years of shooting basis should how long it takes an officer to respond. 5 to 6 minutes. Now that's to a building. Buses are different. You don't know your location. You may be mobile, you may be moving. We don't know. So for a bus, that time's probably going to go up. It's not going to be 5 to 6 minutes. But 5 to 6 minutes when in a building, imagine how people are going to kill or going to die and nothing is done. Your options are limited. You got to take action. You got to run. You got to hide. You got to fight. Hiding really isn't an option. You can't really hide anywhere on stuff. Stuff doesn't seem right. Just don't make it stop. Continue to pass. Call dispatch for assistance. If possible, leave the radio on. Keep keyed up, light, so we can hear what's going on. We can hear what you're not going to be yelling. We know what's going on. If there's bans, try to follow the ban. To waste time before he starts. They start killing people. It's going to be good. Hiding is really not an option. Shooting can occur anytime, anywhere, at anyone. I mean, that's been proven over history. You know, look at all the school shootings. Nobody would have ever thought. Sandy Hook. Who would have thought there would have been a shooting there? Bottom line, you need to take direct responsibility for your safety and security of those things. There's 3 natural responses. Fight, flight, or freeze. Freeze is not an option. It's not on the bus. You can't freeze. You can't do nothing. Fight or flight. Another video. This one actually shows a kid getting on the bus with a gun. Which I would think is probably more likely a parent. It's all stereotypically got a kid in the background, black hood. It may not be that kid. It could be that kid in the case. But I think so. Of course, in the video, they hit the black hood. I'm sorry, he gets on the bus, exactly. You're asking, hey, is everything all right? Just keep going. So you saw the difference in doing nothing, him actually taking action and trying to attack the Virginia Tech. It was for a building, not a bus, but it still kind of shows stats. Rooms that stayed down did 10 killed, 2 wounded out of 14. Jumped and barricaded, 2 killed, 3 wounded. Now the ones that jumped and barricaded, the teacher was actually, he was in World War II or one of the wars, and he knew that he had to react. He knew he had to do something. So he was lowering kids down with ropes out of the second floor. He was killed when the gunman came in. Killed him and another student, but all the rest got out because he did something. Stayed down, 19 present, 12 killed, 6 wounded. Room 207, they barricaded after the first time. The gunman went in once, started shooting, killing people, then they decided to barricade after he left. 5 killed, 6 wounded. Barricaded right away, 0 killed, 0 wounded. So it kind of shows the stats of if you do something, better chance of survival. If you do nothing, lower chance of survival. This is the Alice alert, lockdown, reform, counter, and evacuate. Now, this may not always be in order. You may have to evacuate, then alert. You may have to inform after countering. It's not, it may not be in order. You can do it in any order. That's again for a building. Alert, information. If something's happening, you've got to try to get the information out there so the police know what to do, other buses know what to do, the school knows what's going on. You've got to alert us. Lockdown, not an option on the bus. How are you going to lock down? The only form of lockdown I can see for a bus would be the driving by. You see something suspicious, keep the doors closed, keep driving. That's the only form of lockdown I can potentially see for a bus. Inform again. We gotta know what's going on. We gotta know where you're at. I don't know if you guys' buses have GPS or anything, but if we can't find you, it's going to be really hard to do anything for us to respond. This is a video basically reception. Now they're asking to watch how many passes the white team made. Everybody see the bear in the background dancing through the screen? Well, I can't see it, it's selected either. And it's just because we're so focused on the white team, we don't notice what's going on. What I'm trying to show you this is, you guys know what's going on your bus. You drive it every day. You know what's going on with stops. You know if something's not normal. If something's not normal, you got to do something about it. You got to keep driving. You got to call police. You got to call dispatch. So you guys know what's normal. That's why I was kind of showing that video. That it's all about how you perceive things and how you see things. Counter. You can't survive an attack. Police, we're highly trained on shooting. We shoot all the time. We train all the time. We actually miss 80% of our shots when we get into shooting. because you've got adrenaline, you've got shots being shot at, fired at you, you've got multiple stimulus going on. So imagine if you've got a guy who's never shot a gun before, who decides to pick one up and go try to kill you. They're not going to be as highly, trained, or they're not going to be able to shoot as well. If you start engaging with noise, movement, distractions, it's going to take their shot quality even further down. You can actually, it sounds crazy, you can get shot and survive. You can live after being shot. But if you start throwing stuff at them, moving the bus around, slamming on the brakes, it enhances your chance of survival. But you've got to do something. Survival tactics, barricading, not on the bus. Not going to consume if you're getting shot at, behind something. Evade, escape, swarm. One thing I was talking to Sergeant Bear about with my balls is we do Alice drills in the building. Why not do Alice drills on a bus? Why not have the kids on the bus to go over what to do if they're shooting on a bus with the kids? So they know how to respond. They know how to react. I don't know how to do that on all buses, but what's the point of us training bus drivers if the kids don't know what to do if something happens? Removing and securing weapons. 2% of violent shooters are attacked more than one person. They've all been one person with a gun or with a weapon. They're inside, get outside. On a bus, they're not really an option. You're going to have to do something before you can leave or get outside. Reunification points on a bus, not really an option. You don't know where you're going to be or what's going to be going on. Just get to a safe place, get the passengers to a safe place. When police arrive, I get asked this all the time. Can we hold the gun? Can we use the gun? Can we shoot the person? No. If you get the gun away from them and then you shoot them, you just now murdered somebody. Don't touch the gun, take it, get rid of it, hide it. Don't get out of jail when we arrive. We're not going to know who the person is, the killer. We don't know who the threat is. We're going to see the gun and we're going to shoot whoever has the gun before asking any questions. It's a highly violent situation, and we're not going to know what's going on. We're just going to know something's going on the bus and somebody's got a gun. We're shooting the gun. So don't have the gun when police arrive. Put your hands up, let us know you don't have a weapon. Point out the threat, yell at the threat, tell us where the threat is. Like I said, we're not going to know who the threat is. Don't swarm or run at the police. It's going to cause confusion. You may have an officer that's not highly trained or.
Can you hear me now? Our adrenaline's going to be up. It's going to be high. It's going to be confusing. So if you run at a police officer, we may shoot you. I mean, and that's the last thing we're going to want to do, but it might happen. When faced with danger, you must do something. In a moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Be original. You've got to do something. Everyone's capable. There's a couple articles from some schools where just normal people, everyday people, teachers, guidance counselors, did something and stopped the shooting. Are we prepared for a positive outcome or just hoping for one? Think ahead and be prepared. If something happens, are you just hoping that everything goes all right? Or are you just hoping that there might be a shooter on a bus and he'll trip and fall and shoot himself? You've got to be prepared. When you're driving on your bus stops, start thinking, what happens if when I come to this stop, there's a guy there with a gun? What would I do? What happens if somebody gets on the bus? What will I do? It sucks that we have to think this way. It really does. I know when I was in high school 18 years ago, I never thought my kids coming to school and killing people. It's not something we should have to think about, but unfortunately we do. So you've got to think about it. It sucks. And that's the end of my presentation for now. What I want to do is I want to get out on the buses in small groups. We've got some pads and red men suit. We want to go through some scenarios with you guys, actually not attacking us, but doing some scenarios where we'll have airsoft guns. We won't shoot anybody because they're empty. But just kind of go through, can you see the gun in the mirror? Can you see the person with the gun in the mirror? What will you do if you want to run at us? You want to get off the bus, whatever you want to do. But I just want to do some scenarios, actual physical scenarios out on the bus.
He's going to kill those three kids, he's going to kill you and everybody else on the bus. It's a hard decision to make, but you're going to have to keep driving and take the chance of those three kids getting killed and everybody else living. I mean, that's a rough decision to make, but it's one you're going to have to make. Because if not, he's going to get on the bus and kill everybody. Because if he's got a gun and he's wanting to come on the bus, he's not wanting to come on here and play nice. He's going to want to come on the bus and kill people. That's what he's doing. So that's a rough decision to make, but you're going to have to make it. If he does get on a bus or it's a kid, you do what you have to do to take him down, take him out, and survive. Because you guys are, what, quarter of the county is your area pretty much to cover? You could be anywhere. It might be 20 minutes for law enforcement response to where you're at. So, I mean, you got to think about 20 minutes of what's going to happen on that bus with somebody with a gun if you do nothing. It's a matter of 1 or 2 minutes of him killing everybody. Because he could have 17, 18, 19 rounds in a magazine and then 10 more magazines. He's just going to sit here and start shooting everybody and walk through the bus. And, I mean, point blank, you're dead.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
If there's a student on the bus and you feel like he has a weapon, should you ask him, do you have a weapon on you?
What would make you think he has a weapon?
If somebody told you that he did?
That's probably where you need to immediately notify law enforcement.
Well, yeah, but would you ask the student?
I wouldn't, because that may set him off.
I was going to say, I wouldn't ask
You
the
say, do
student.
you have a gun? And he goes, well, yeah, here it is.
Yeah. So what you... Okay, I understand that. Okay,
I
I just...
wouldn't ask, because that
Okay.
may be the point to set him off that, well, yeah, I got a gun.
Okay.
Now she knows she's calling me out. Screw it. I'm done. I'm going to start shooting people.
Okay.
So I wouldn't ask, but if you have enough belief that it's there, I would somehow get, notify law enforcement, which he may hear you, though, is the thing over the radio. So
That's what I'm saying.
How would,
Couldn't there be like some universal code or something? You know,
we have codes. I don't know if your district wants to come up with, like, codes for, a disruptive student, a
We
fighting
should.
student, and somebody with a gun. You could. That's a potential thought, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Like,
Now
for us,
to
code
remember.
40 is the person with a gun.
do what?
So,
See, that sounds wiser because that student doesn't know what that means.
right. So
Now, is that code universal, like between the sheriff and county, municipality, police forces, or
there's
what?
Buckeye sheriff codes that are used, but there's also, like, Columbus has their own codes.
Oh,
Different
okay.
agencies have different codes. But county and us use the same codes.
Okay.
So if you did radio, say, code 40, and it was, your code was the same as the county's or ours, we would know what that
But
meant.
we would need to check with probably the Asheville Police Department, Commercial Point Police in South Bloomfield.
Right?
Or we can just say, hey, I got a code on the bus or something.
Every agency in
They'd be all the same?
BSSA code system. So
Okay, fine.
So yeah, Asheville's would be the same.
Okay.
Well, like I was saying, you guys could be anywhere in north end of the county. We'd have to find you, track you down, get to you, and neutralize the threat. That could be 20 minutes for you guys. You're not like us in the city where we're going to probably be there in a couple minutes and swarm the bus.
So if you'd call out code 40, should you also immediately give the road
Yeah,
as a...
and where you're
yes,
headed, so we
immediately.
know how to find you.
Like Lochran Eastern, Duval, code 40,
I was
Duval,
talking to,
whatever.
where's your radio?
Eastbound. See, I don't know about that.
It would be a lot better than saying on the radio, you got
I
a kid
know.
with a gun.
But code 40, but
Has the same
if
radios and we have
Mr.
them
Shifton
in
them
our
already know our routes,
And there's actually a...
Well, we would know general location. Next year, you're all going to have GPS on your bus
Yeah,
anyhow.
hit the red button,
Okay.
it sets off
They've
codes
arrived.
and-
oh, good.
Oh, to where you can't hear it in here, but they can hear it at this stuff.
Right.
Right, just mention it.
Theirs isn't activated. So I was thinking about, we had Circle City schools have the same radios, I believe, as well, and they're talking about maybe getting that button activated so that if something happens, they can hit, the bus drivers can hit it.
But Tays Valley buses don't have those.
They don't have that.
No. They didn't get in with the county when that happened 4 or 5 years ago. They chose not to do it. So we're the only school district, I don't know about Head Start, but the 4 county schools, I think we're the only ones that don't. Westfall, Logan Elm, Circleville all have that, I believe.
The other question came up, do you grab the radio first and say what's going on, or do you attack the person? Personally, I think you attack the person because you can always get him neutralized, get the weapon away from him, and then have a kid, hey, call, tell dispatch we need help. This is where we're at. Tell radio, whatever. That you neutralize the threat first, because if you're taking the time to sit there and radio it in, he's still killing you.
He's shooting you. I don't want to shoot you so you don't call nobody.
Right, you've got to get back there, you've got to
And
do something.
chances
about
are
it,
he's gonna
take
be
care of the
behind
threat,
you.
neutralize it. And unfortunately on a bus, your options are limited, you have to do something. You saw the video where the bus driver got off and ran, but you didn't hear he was still bang, 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 bang. He's still killing kids because the bus driver got off. You're responsible for the kids on that bus. Think about what's going to look like if you get off the bus and running, 60 kids are killed and you live. It's not going to look very good to the parents and the families of those kids that die because you did nothing. And you're going to feel horrible. So you've got to do something. What we're going to do is I'm going to go back there, halfway back, so forth. I'm going to just say, hey, do you see the gun? Can you see the gun? We'll do it at different locations. and then I'll say, all right, we're gonna do a scenario. You act like you either rock the bus, pull the e-brake, whatever you need to do. But I told them, I said, rock the bus and pull the e-brake, and throw them both off. Grab the fire extinguisher. You have to come back and hit me in the head with a fire extinguisher. You do what you have to do to survive. I mean, even if you have to just spray it, you do what you have to do to survive. It doesn't matter what it is. All right, so I'll go a little back. Just say what you're doing, and I'll act like I'm flying forward. What they did on the one bus, which it was just a knee-jerk reaction, they didn't mean to. They took my arm and jammed it between the window and the seat, and it actually made my wrist react. My hand opened up, the gun went, and then when they all ran off the bus, they kicked the gun the whole way. So they kicked the gun off the bus. I was telling them, I'd like to do this with kids. Why not get the kids involved? I mean, if we do active shooter scenarios in schools, why not do an active shooter scenario on the bus so the kids know how to react? Because if not, you're going to have to depend on yourself being the sole responsible person for taking that threat out. Now, if you got high school kids, hopefully they'll tackle them or do whatever, but if they don't know what to do on the bus, they may pick the gun up and go, I got the gun, I got the gun, I got the gun, and I show up and I'm shooting the gun.
I think that's awesome. I've always said that, even with our other trainings that we have, and they show us how you know, the crash dummies and all that.
Right.
You probably wouldn't have to explain as much to the kids if they actually seen them dummies flying through. They might sit in their seat for a change. Why are they always showing us? And what happens at train tracks when they're running their
I wouldn't be opposed to coming up to every district if I need to and showing that video to the kids. I mean, so they can see what happens on the bus. With
That
the
would be
video
great.
And then doing scenarios on the bus.
They really do, not just us.
Like we do it at school when I'm on the bus.
Right. They have safety at school for all their stuff. Why not bus safety?
The hard one will be elementary school kids. You know, what would they do? How would they react? They're little kids. So that's where the bus driver is definitely going to have to do something.
There's a lot more of them than
A lot more
elementary.
Yeah.
My only issue
So
with
I'll go
training
back
the
here.
kids on it is
Oh, gosh.
the only problem with training the kids is you're training the kid that's gonna come on the bus and shoot people, and he's gonna know what your reaction's gonna be.
I always take a tactical approach to, okay, what can I use? You know, we were back there talking about how do you breach this bus? What's the best, most efficient way to do it? You got to kind of look at things like that all the time. So if your life is atypical and you get up at 5 and you take a shower and you eat a sandwich and drink a couple cups of coffee and you watch the news and you go to work and you get on your bus and you warm it up and you do your paperwork, we have a lot of things in our life that are redundant, but you have to take a look at, you got to take a tactical approach too, you know, and you got to look at, okay, what if this happened? What if that happened? I do this all the time in my life every day. What if, so that hopefully in my mind somewhere I can prepare for that scenario. You know, I can tell you that if I was a driver of this bus, I could surely make anybody who breached this bus to hurt somebody, I think I could hurt them really bad inside this bus. Maybe if not just driving, but like he said, using the fire extinguisher and everything like that. Because recognizing the threat, for me, is just sort of a gut feeling, because you have parents standing out with kids all the time. Yeah, you know, and that right there in and of itself, if I'm you and I'm driving this bus and I'm going through my route and my routine every day and I'm rolling up and I'm getting to know parents, well, some parents will talk to you and they drop their kids off and, you know, build that little bit of rapport with you. And believe it or not, some of your suspects that do the stuff like this, that's part of their plan. Some may never say a word and just watch what you do. I think you have to have a tactical approach to what you're doing. You know, you train to live, you don't train to die. We say a lot of stuff, worst case scenario stuff, you know, he's shooting kids, or pop, you know, you can be dead if you don't do this. But you also train to live, you know, so you work that, you put that little security bubble around this bus, and you become tactically minded to recognize anything. You know, maybe one of your things is the kid gets on the bus, but the parent doesn't step on the bottom step. You know what I mean? I'm sure that's an acceptable practice by any means, and you know what? You might have a few complainers, but maybe that is, maybe that's something that you do, you know? Don't get too comfortable with people, you know? And I think that's one of the biggest things. I noticed that this right here, if we ever had to breach this bus, if you guys could consciously think about that, that might save a lot of time for us if you could just pop that door open. you know, or push a button if you saw a tactical team or your first responders coming up to the bus knowing you're having an incident. There are things that you can do in your mind to prepare for the worst case scenario stuff. You know, yeah, you got to protect the kids, and yeah, you should know when somebody comes on the bus, if they want to hurt somebody, there are probably going to be a few casualties. I'm sure we have some veterans on this bus that know this, you know. So, you know, when I look at this bus, this is a tool and a weapon for me to defend the kids. So I look around and I try to figure out what's the best case scenario here, you know. Is it the security and recognizing the threat, or at least giving the people that much respect, knowing that who you're talking to can be hurt? For me, that allows me not to be a victim and walk around on planet Earth. Because I know everybody's capable of that. You know what I mean? And that's what's in my mind all the time. Doesn't mean I have to be disrespectful, or it doesn't mean I have to disassociate from people. All it means is that you're not going to hurt me, but if you try to hurt me, one of us is going to the hospital, and it'll probably be you. But that's the mindset that I walk around with. So I think you guys will do all right as long as you recognize what are your tools, what do you have in the toolbox to work with. Is it the tactical approach, where you're just simply being observant and trying to notice and catch it? Or is it the psychomotor skill approach, where you're using your skills to stop the bus or get the fire extinguisher out or fight or do what you got to do? I can tell each and every one of you, if I was a bus driver and your children were on this bus and something like that happened, I'd die trying. And it's just as simple as that. I'd be dedicated to that. Why? Because I'm the driver. This is my ship, that's my cargo, and I'm going to protect it with everything that I have. You know, because you can't expect kids to react to those situations the same way you would. But if you put it in your mind every day, it can work. If you put it in your mind, if something happens, and you get up from this chair, I'm going to put the brakes on. I'm not going to let people on my bus. You know, I'm going to do these things. I think that you better prepare yourself. Yes, sir.
What could you carry? I know bus driver can't carry a gun, but you know, get the fire extinguisher or the broom. You really don't have any weapon up there. No. But you know, like our truck drivers used to carry.
We were talking about that over there. The air checker.
Yeah, it's got a metal piece on the end, and it's about this long.
I guess you're not allowed to have those on buses anymore.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking that would be something you could grab quick.
Can't we just like take our bags and like throw it?
I think a lot of that stuff is really
any
going
distractions.
to be up to whatever
that would be a fatal weapon.
policies and procedures stuff. But I can tell you that I could probably hurt somebody really bad with that fire extinguisher. I could distract them long enough with a trash can or maybe a hard pedal on the brake. You know, when we enter a house, there's two ways to do it. We chuck and bang outside of the house, and depending on the threat and what's going on inside the house, we'll kick the door in and we'll throw another flashbang inside there. The flashbang's not meant to hurt anybody. It's meant to
startle,
be a loud boom percussion, and it's meant to distract them just long enough for me to do what we need to do, which would be enter the house, get them on the floor, secure them, cuff them, so that we can actively search this place safely. So, you know, a squirt out of that fire extinguisher is probably enough distraction for you to do a rush, you know, just so it's anything that you can use, you know what I mean? And you can make the best use of that. So, you know, distract, rush, put them on the floor. I bet if I was standing in the middle of this floor and you hit these brakes, I'm hitting the floor.
Yeah, you're going to hit the floor.
You're going to do 35, 40 miles per hour.
If I don't hit the floor and you add a little swerve to it, you can probably bounce me off a corner of one of these chairs. It's just, it's anything you have available to you, you know. So I think just being tactically prepared in your mind is something that you should do every day in your life. So if you have anybody that's taken martial arts, is there anybody in here that take martial arts when they were a kid or anything? That kind of stuff just kind of, it sticks with you.
I've had unarmed self-defense.
It prepares you every day for everyday things. If you have a basic principle.
Yeah, like I said, they even asked me, what if I put it into a tree? You know what? You do what you have to do. I mean, you have to survive. If you have to put it into a tree and stop the bus that way, you do it.
I'm not saying that that is the best option in the world,
but
it's an option.
If a guy with an assault rifle who's engaged, it's an option.
Yeah.
You know, because especially if he's back here and you're up here, that's a long way to go.
Someone just puts a shotgun on me, I'm gonna die.
That would be better than
High school kids understand fight or flight. I think a lot better than your middle school kids understand that. And I also think that they're old enough and a little prepared enough in their mind that they would fight with you. I'm just not sure about those younger kids. The adrenaline rush will just shut them down, you know. They'll go into what's natural to them, get on the floor, curl up in a ball, and they'll do that kind of stuff. So really it's all up to you. But
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
My elementary kids, I explained to them safety rules, and I have told them that if there's an incident that's, you know, dangerous, to get down and, you know, don't get up, don't get in the aisle, just stay in your seat and hide
Where
behind.
else could you apply that besides like scaring the holy crap out of them for a shooter? Where else can you apply that type of information? How about a simple tornado drill? You can make it into a tornado drill.
A tornado drill, yeah.
Sure.
Instead of scaring them, saying, hey, somebody on the bus is killing you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that to
Right,
them.
but
Yeah, I wouldn't say that to them, but I said an emergency situation.
And that's great. You know, you don't have to apply that. Well, what if a shooter comes on?
Yeah, no, I would never say that to them, no.
I mean, shooter.
Unless it's big.
And they run home with
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
But if they get down, they're not going to know somebody's up there with a gun. I just told them if in an emergency situation.
There's cover and there's concealment in every
Yeah.
shooting situation.
Yeah.
And if you can provide them concealment, even if they hunker down in a seat.
Yes.
If you could provide them cover, even if you could get them onto the floor and under a seat.
Right.
You know, any way to get them out of the view or out of the focal point of that threat is going to be the key.
Is right. That's right. Yeah.
So I like that, you know, prepare your kids for an emergency situation. Apply it to the weather if you don't want to apply it to an active shooter.
Yeah, I would never say
I think they'll
shooter.
understand either way.
Right.
They would all start crying. Yeah.
Do whatever you have to do.
My question to
home
you
and
is,
they're calling us their
if you
chef.
rolled up onto a bus stop and a guy pops out an assault rifle, you know, could you hit him with the bus? Is there kids there beside him?
See, that question came up there.
Is he by himself?
That question came up there, and it was looking out, and I said, well, you guys have a lot of hunters, so you may have a guy walking down the side of the road with a shotgun, getting ready to walk into the woods.
Oh, I've seen them.
Would you really want to hit a guy that's a hunter because he has a gun?
62. When they hear how
Right.
But you gotta know the difference.
Right, you got to know the difference. Now, if he's approaching the bus and he's lifting the gun up,
Yeah. Take them out.
It's like, sorry about your luck, bud.
You know what, if I could articulate that assault rifle's in his hands and he poses some kind of threat to me or my cargo, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to paste him.
right.
I mean, and
Right.
you gotta think, what kind of gun
Right.
are they holding?
Are they wearing hunter orange with a shotgun? Okay, they're probably hunting.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
that's
the little
extreme.
thing would be
You
devastating.
know what, it might be 1 in a million that somebody might come onto this bus and try to hurt these kids or hurt you. The mere fact that it's 1 in a million and the possibility exists, that should be what stands out in your mind. That's what would stand out in my mind if I had to do this job. It's a pretty important job in my mind. So, but there's you know, there's things that you can do tactically to prepare for that kind of stuff.
You see the gun?
Yeah, I think so.
So you can see it everywhere pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Should I put him in a headlock? Take the gun?
So at this point, at the point you see the gun, what are you going to do? You going to react or you going to wait till I start shooting people?
I didn't know we started since he
No, I'm asking.
We said go.
No, I'm just asking. So at the point you see the gun, what would you do? Would you wait till I start shooting or would you go and start reacting?
guy with the weapon to do that.
Okay.
Some point right there, yeah.
Okay. All right, so now I'm up, I'm walking, I got the gun, I've shot somebody.
You're hitting the brakes.
Hard right. And brake check.
So now I'm forward. Go ahead, do what you're going to do.
Then I'd get you.
Discharge it. I'm making my way to you.
Get his wrist.
Well, once if you get it ready,
Sorry.
throw it on the floor. No, you're fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to throw it near you, so get
Right,
it
so throw it on the floor. You're right.
out the window.
Whatever.
on the
Yeah,
floor.
whatever.
That's a good idea.
Kick it. I mean, Do whatever you have to do.
Let me see that gun. Has that got the orange tip on it? I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, you can't say that because there's.
I know.
There's
They're
been
making them
gangs
now.
painting orange tips on real
Yeah.
guns.
That was my question, is if a kid, I mean, are we gonna, we should react that way no matter what.
Yes.
I mean, if there's somebody and they just brought their cool gun to show their buddy, and it's a toy gun, it doesn't matter. React
If it
that
looks
way.
real, react same.
Okay.
Yeah.
My nephew has a revolver that's an airsoft that's actually the same size as a regular revolver.
My
It's
boyfriend
metal
too.
and it's heavy. And it without the orange tip, it looked like a real gun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you
What
still
about
react.
if they had like a knife or something instead of a gun? Same type of thing, or?
You'd want to get that knife away from them as quick as possible, which even if that means you call the sheriff and you say, or Asheville and you say, I got to kill him with a knife. Because you don't know what he's planning on doing with it.
Right.
Kids know they're not supposed to bring knives to school.
Right.
They know they're not supposed to bring guns to school. So why do they have it? Are they planning on using it, or are they just, hey, look, I got a cool knife?
I mean, if they have like a knife that's folded up, obviously they're not actively trying to hurt somebody right then.
Right.
No.
You can definitely call it in.
Yeah, we're out in the
Right.
country, so sometimes kids carry those little pocket knives.
Just
Right.
like take them out of their pocket or whatever.
No.
So they forget that they're in there.
Right.
I mean, even I have.
I carry a knife every day,
Right.
but it's one of these, you know.
Well, see, I have to make sure that I don't have my little tiny little hunting knife
Right.
on me.
Knives are a little different. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a knife, but if they do stab somebody, it's going to be a lot easier to get back to them and neutralize them than if they're sitting here with a gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you see a kid with a knife and you think he brought the knife, hey, bring that up here. I need that.
It's judgment call.
Right. Now, if you got a kid with a knife sitting there waving it around, he's obviously a threat with a knife. Any other questions?
I liked how somebody put it one time. Define weapon.
Anything.
If he's got a pipe in his hand.
I can kill you with a pen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was in a training class for unarmed self-defense, and the instructor said, here's how you kill somebody with a pen, and he showed us. No. You put it in your hand.
So he's gonna show us.
Because if you put it like that, it's going to slide.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh.
And then you jam it in and push it.
I can't.
Nice.
Yeah, they had that. Hawaii 5-0 had that last
So
time.
jam it in and push it. Because if you're holding it, when you jam it in, it's going to slide.
Right.
Right here. You can kill somebody with a pen.
Good to know.
Ear, nose, jugular.
Aye.
Really bad too.
So, if you're driving a bus, grab your pencil and go after. Or your, go after.
Beats nothing.
I mean, you
Technically, you could.
Homework.
You live.
Keep sharpened pencils on the bus.
A pencil in the throat will kill someone.
Right. You live. You survive. Your kids survive. That's what it comes down to.
Sign anything.
Because even cops are going to fight dirty because we're going to go home to our family.
Whatever it takes.
Okay, officer, if you,
These book bags you could really knock out with.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, if there's no other questions and nobody wants any more scenarios, we'll go inside. We want to have a Q&A inside for a little bit.
Hey, I have a question. Any kind of incident like that happen, half my high school kids have headphones on.
I know.
Yep.
So they'd be clueless.
yeah,
Yeah, they'd be
And I
clueless.
absolutely think that they should not have headphones.
Probably not. But that's where it falls back on the responsibility of the bus driver to do something. Your kids aren't responsible enough to do anything. They're not going to know what to do. That's where it falls back on you.
I know, but my God, they have headphones on and something's going on, and I mean, I don't know what to...
they have them on in the building half the time, Sandy, when I see them walking in the hallway.
It's ridiculous.
All right, officer, when you get in, if you would go up on the stage, the mic's still up on the little table,
Okay.
and we'll just go ahead and get started so we can get the folks
All right.
and wrap it up. All right, thank you guys.
There was a lot of good questions on every bus on certain scenarios. You know, what if you see a guy walking up to the bus with a gun and you hit him with the bus? Well, what if he's a hunter with a gun? And you accidentally just kill a hunter now. So that's not just a decision you have to make. Now, if it's a guy walking up to the bus with an assault rifle, he's probably not a hunter. You do what you have to do. I'm not going to tell you to hit somebody and kill them. And then you're saying, well, Officer Farragut said it's okay to run over people. I'm not going to do that. Use a fire extinguisher. Spray them with it, and throw it at them. Use the broom if you have a broom. Use the trash can if you have a trash can. You do what you have to do to distract that person on the bus that's there to harm people. One thing we learned on the one bus was I had the gun in my hand and they took it through the window and the seat. So, and then they kicked it all the way off the bus. So they did a good job, but it was something I didn't think about. Get the weapon away from them, kick it, throw it out the window, do whatever you have to do. Are there any questions? I mean, this is new to me. It's the first time I've ever done Alice on a bus. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me on it. I'm learning this along with you guys. So if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them the best I can. Anybody got any questions? Nothing? Well, I appreciate your time. If any of your districts wants me to come out and talk to the kids, I work at the, I have an office at the high school at Circle. Somebody can call the high school and they'll get a hold of me. I have no problem coming out to your guys' school, talking to the kids, showing the video, showing the PowerPoint. I'm okay with that. That'd be up to your school district, but I'm willing to do it if you want to. So that's something to keep in mind. Fine. There's guns there. My wife knows how to use them too. Yep, that's fine. Well, there's no any other. I'm gonna shoot you. So there's no other questions. I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate you bearing with me on this. And like I said, if anybody needs anything, feel free to call the high school and get a hold of me, and I'll come talk to anybody I need. All right. Thank you.